I care about right now. I've been getting busy. I'm outside. I've been leading an example in a great way. You heard?
Yo, Jimmy.
I break that nigga 30 minutes. They don't really know who Nas is. If he, son,
no, but he knows.
My son can't tell you one Nas record. You heard? Like, let's keep it a buck here. He reached out to Nas to actually.
Whoa.
I'm doing my chicken head right now because I really want him to get on this record.
Like, if it was like Jim Jones, imagine putting a pen to paper to write about him. He was so nice about him. How did you do that?
Let's get one thing straight. This isn't your typical rap beef. This isn't two titans trading bars on wax, battling for lyrical supremacy. Nah. What we have here is Jim Jones throwing punches at a ghost. A ghost named Nas, who's so far above the noise that he didn't even bother to clap back. But Jim? Oh, he's been on fire lately, running his mouth on podcasts, waving around Billboard stats, and even threatening to pull up. And for what? A response that never came. This whole saga is less of a beef and more of a one-man meltdown. So let's break it all the way down.
Oh no, oh no, oh no, 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 oh no, oh no, oh no.
I'm not anxious to hear the Jim Jones diss record.
It all started with a podcast appearance, because of course it did. Jim Jones sat down and, without hesitation, declared that Nas wasn't relevant anymore, that his own name should be held higher than Nas's in the current rap game. He even claimed his own son didn't know any Nas songs. Bold words from a man who once called Nas the greatest of all time. But it didn't stop there. Jim straight up challenged Nas to meet him in person. Yeah, Jim said he'd pull up. Over what? A difference in streaming numbers and some clout-chasing comparisons on Instagram? Wild.
Let's not get into that where we get into numbers and I gotta show you the statistics of what I've done. You heard to what other people was done. You heard them. You wanna go to the Billboard entries, pull up Nas' Billboard entries, then pull up my Billboard entries.
But let's rewind the tape a little bit. This isn't new. This beef, it goes all the way back to the early 2000s, when Dipset was throwing shots at Nas on mixtapes and freestyles. Nas, he barely blinked. In fact, an old video recently resurfaced showing Nas brushing Jim off with surgical precision, saying he couldn't even imagine writing a diss track about him. What would I write? He said. I respect his hustle. And that's about it. It was cold, clinical, and savage. But somehow, Jim still hasn't let it go.
I did for Nas probably never been done for him in his life. He's never been that viral at all, ever. Ever. He's never been talked about like this ever in his life.
Now, has Nas reached out to you?
You did. The last time he was in some like this where people were comparing, was when him and Jay was beating on him.
Say that.
Now it's just like, I'm where I'm at. I'm at the apex of what I do, you heard? So I'm talking about currently, you heard? Currently, nobody from my era really want to get busy or go and get into the booth with me right now, currently. This is a fact, Jack. You heard? If not, they would have stood up a long time ago and holler at me.
Fast forward to now, and Jim's got a new angle. He's been telling anyone who'll listen that he made Nas go viral again. That his podcast rant was the biggest moment for Nas since Ether. Seriously, Jim actually believes he revived Nas's relevance by talking smack. He said, "What I did for Nas has never been done for him in his life." Like, what? The delusion is next level. And when critics reminded Jim that Nas has multiple Grammys, platinum albums, and a permanent seat at the table of hip-hop legends, Jim doubled down. But the internet wasn't having it. Fans dragged Jim all over social media, calling him washed up, desperate, and out of touch. And just when you thought it couldn't get worse, Jim tried to flex with Billboard numbers. Pull up my entries and pull up Nas's, he said. And Billboard? They actually fact-checked it. Turns out Jim's had just 2 songs hit the Hot 100, with only 1 cracking the top 10. Nas, he's got 27 Hot 100 entries, 2 top 10s, and 6 number 1s. 1 album. That's not even in the same stratosphere. It wasn't a flex, it was a self-drag.
Right now,
the real person.
Right now. And it ain't a money thing, but this is here, you heard? If you want to get busy, is the money on the line. Any one of y'all from my era, care about right now.
Recently saw a clip on Instagram where a young kid was comparing you to Nas and saying that you got
Yeah, that's my young boy.
big hits.
He's wild.
Yo, he looked to you. He learned how to wear the BB Simon belt from you. He got his swag. Like, how crazy is that? Because in my era, you know what I'm saying, Nas is like a god.
In my era too. I mean,
So
well,
to be compared,
yeah, let me
that young kid out.
he was young and we loved that he loved Jim Jones. I want you to break it down.
Let's not get into that where we get into numbers and I gotta show you the statistics of what I've done. You heard to what other people was done. You heard them. You want to go to the Billboard entries, pull up Nas Billboard entries, then pull up my Billboard entries.
Listen, we can't compare the two. What I'm trying to tell you is
I want to go there.
Hold on.
I want to go down the line now because now we going down the line. He's a rapper and I'm a rapper.
Listen,
no. Let's go statistically.
It feels great.
No, but I want to go statistically because
can I say something?
Because when people be like,
I feel the same way. We all feel the same way.
And forget about the numbers. There's nothing that could. There's never is me. Putting me up against anybody, I'm taking me every time. Every time.
Supposed to.
Okay,
every
but let me say something though, Jim.
In every category,
Jim,
I get busy.
Still, Jim wouldn't stop. On Nightcap with Shannon Sharpe and Chad Johnson, things got messy. Jim first gave Nas some respect, saying he was inspired by his early music. But then he turned right back around and said Nas never had real influence. According to Jim, Nas always played second fiddle to Jay-Z and DMX. He even said Nas lost him after the Belly movie. We was too deep in the streets to relate, Jim claimed. Brother, this ain't a hood pass competition, it's hip-hop legacy, and Nas already earned his. When Shannon Sharpe asked Jim if he was sober when he said he was better than Nas, Jim laughed it off, then doubled down. I'm way more influential, he snapped. I don't care what nobody say. He even offered money to settle it in the booth, saying he'd out-rap anyone from his era. But let's be honest, who's really checking for a Jim Jones lyrical showcase in 2025? Not Nas, not the fans, and not even Dipset if we're keeping it a buck. And here's where it gets real sad. After all the smoke and posturing, Jim actually admitted something shocking. He once reached out to Nas for a collaboration. Yup. He sent a track, had mutual friends try to connect them, and waited for a call that never came. Nas didn't even respond directly. Jim got the message through the grapevine. Nas liked the song, but that was it. Imagine begging for a feature from someone you now say isn't relevant.
Can I ask you a question, Jim?
Mm-hmm.
You smoke, right?
Yeah.
Were you smoking when you said you better than Nas?
I might have been a little bit. Well, as far as let's get this right. I'm way more influential than Nas, and I don't care what nobody say. I know I made a little boo-boo when you talk about the sales and all this type of shit. I don't feel like getting into that rhetoric about where I started and where he started.
Well, you said that.
But listen, Nas was nice when I was in high school. When I was in 10th grade, Nas came out. Nas was dope. We appreciated him. He had a little bit of run. But Nas always came up second to Jay and DMX and all these other people. Like,
Ain't no shame in that. There a lot of old folks came up second to Tom Brady.
He never had that type of influence on us, except for his first album. I already told you, I used to want to dress like Nas because he had a lot of fresh clothes that the hustlers used to wear. We used to see him on TV. He had one of the illest albums of all time. And then in high school when he had the barbecue and shit like that. So I'm a real fan of Nas, but he kind of lost me after the movie Belly and shit like that. Like, I don't.
Man, go ahead on with that, Jim.
I'm trying to tell you, I'm being honest. You ask me, I'm being a fan. I'm telling you, the movie Belly was fire, but after that, he kind of lost me. I think we was way too much into the list goals. You ever heard of a Kofi list?
Yeah.
Yo, go back into your history and find out what happened between us and him. You dig? And I'm not trying to repeat history, but don't play with us when it comes to that, bro. We already went wild on them boys. You heard? We the ones that went wild on them boys. Yeah.
I'm put it to you like this, here, Jim. Hey, bro, you been in this thing, but lyrically, I'm gonna keep it a stack with you.
Yeah, but look how you dress. Look how you dress. You don't even be in the same places I be in. I
can be in the church house. You can't ever Nas lyrics. I don't know who told you that. Now look, y'all know you on that good stuff, but you not seeing Nas.
Because I said I'm better than Nas.
It don't matter.
Look at you. Look at you.
Ain't nobody from Dipset gonna take you over Nas. Nobody from the Diplomats but you.
I got a question.
Stick up for itself and meet me in a booth for something if we want to do something historical.
Nas say he don't do that no more. Nas say he don't do that
because he got $100 million. He's a very wealthy man. You heard he's a very smart businessman. He got a couple business clicks.
Hold on.
I'm
I'm rapping at a high level. You better check my stats, bro. I will run circles around Nas rapping right. I will run circles around Nas rapping right now. Right now, I will run Saturn around Nas right now rapping. Let's get this right. I'm not mad. It's about the sportsmanship of the game. People know I'm a very aggressive person, and I seem to get misconstrued when I'm talking my shit. I'm just talking my shit, you heard? Let me talk my shit because I am on the field. If anybody got a problem with that, they can meet me on the field. That is the proof. Anybody from that era. I can sing more Nas records than you right now. So you are capping. You are capping. That's what you're doing.
First of all, bro,
you are capping. I'm a bigger Nas fan than you are. You are capping.
First of all, I'm 57. I don't be singing no rap. I don't be singing no rap.
You see what I'm saying, Ocho? He don't even know about rap. He just doing this for the views to get Jim Jones on there to get him hot. I understand.
Get him hot.
You don't know Nas.
You better check the podcast space. Now you better talk.
Sing 16.
Hey, this the biggest podcast you ever been on.
Name one Nas record.
This the biggest podcast you ever been on. You know the podcast you been on bigger than this one.
Hold on. We off topic. Hold on.
This is what I do. You see
Name a podcast you been on bigger than this one. When you get big, you get invited to Club Shay Shay.
This is what I do.
Nas get invited to Club Shay Shay. Jadakiss get invited to Club Shay Shay. You not on that level yet, bro.
It's for little young white girls. Chill out. Chill out. Don't play with me, bro. Chill out.
Off topic.
You're dealing with the wrong one, bro.
Right here, bro.
I don't care nothing about nothing else that you got to say, bro. You might as well take me off this shit, bro.
We here. You can't out talk
me alone, bro.
You might can out rap me, but you can't out talk me.
Don't nobody want to go to Club Shay Shay. Nobody want to buy no VIP tickets to that shit. Nobody rushing to go to that shit.
Biggest podcast you ever been on.
Club Shay Shay.
Hey,
if you got a good podcast.
And to twist the knife even deeper, Jim has publicly stated multiple times that Nas is one of his favorite rappers of all time. He said he looked up to Nas in high school. He said Illmatic changed his life. He said doing a song with Nas would be bucket list material, But now he wants to act like Nas isn't even a top-tier MC. It's giving confused. It's giving contradiction. It's giving, please notice me. Nas, for his part, said nothing. Not a word, not a tweet, not a single diss bar. Instead, he posted a photo of himself having dinner with LeBron James, Draymond Green, and top-tier black CEOs. It was the ultimate silent flex. Fans instantly picked up on the shade. One comment said, "This is how you silence a one-hit wonder." Another said, "Sometimes saying nothing says everything." It was elegant, savage, and absolutely on brand for a rap legend who knows he's untouchable.
If it was like Jim Jones, imagine putting a pen to paper to write about him. Even so nice about him. How did you do that? What's the first sentence? What the fuck do you write about him? I'm not anxious to hear the Jim Jones diss record. Like, I'm like, yo. The niggas that used to have a nigga a little nervous was like B.I.G., Pop. Right. Even Cannabis, like Eminem. The niggas used to have you like, if we go at it, dog, we gotta go hard. You know what I'm saying? But these niggas like a Jim Jones, like, I mean, I respect you getting your money. You're like, exactly, right?
But it seems like you're not respecting his lyrical game right now.
I respect his hustle. I respect his hustle.
But Jim wasn't done. He kept the circus going on Instagram, posting videos of himself working out and calling out Shannon Sharp to meet him in the gym. "Don't duck now," he said. "You challenged me. Let's finish it." Fans weren't impressed. They called him wheelchair legs, corny, and said he's doing all this for attention at nearly 50 years old. It's the rap version of midlife crisis cardio. The real kicker? Jim keeps saying he doesn't care about frivolous drama, but he's the only one keeping this alive. Nas has literally ignored him for 20 years. He never wrote a diss.
I was laying back on the couch laughing. He didn't know what to do.
When Jim called him out again in 2008,
and then Dame was like, "You know,
nothing.
Jim." He started stammering.
Not a verse.
Dame is just burnt
not a
out.
soundbite.
He not thinking about none
just
of that
silence.
frivolous-ish. Me neither,
now,
for the most
in 2025,
part. Nas was never
Jim's
on my level.
Still spiraling, while Nas is enjoying fine wine and multi-million-dollar business deals. And let's not forget how hypocritical it all is. One day, Jim calls Nas the GOAT. The next, he says Nas never had influence. One day he's begging for a feature. The next he's claiming superiority. One day he's waving money at the camera. The next he's quoting Nas lyrics in interviews. The contradictions are wild, and the only consistent thing is Nas's refusal to dignify any of it with a response.
Nah, but we still got a bunch of mutual friends and shit like that. I actually reached out to Nas. I actually sent him the record. I got a response from him, not personally, but through the friends that gave him my number. I was told, like he said, he wanted to holler at me and shit like that, that he liked the record. That was what I was told. But everything besides Dipset, whatever, before Dipset, just want to put that on the record. Like, Nas was absolutely one of my favorite rappers of all time. From when he did the barbecue when we was in high school, walking through the hallways, we felt like he was him and like we was him. And, you know, once you get into the pros, you know what it is, and you ain't on the same team. But I would love to do a record with him, as him being one of my favorites of all time. I think that's bucket list material for me. So, you know, we'll see what happens.
So where does that leave us? With a rap legend whose silence spoke volumes, and a once hungry rapper who's become the punchline in his own play. Jim tried to flip the narrative, tried to spark a viral moment, tried to convince the world he's the one on top. But the numbers, the legacy, and the culture all say the same thing. Nas doesn't need to respond because he already won. And the more Jim talks, the more obvious that becomes. But what do you think? Is Jim just trolling for attention? Or does he actually believe he can out-rap a legend like Nas? Was this all just a clumsy attempt to stay relevant in a game that's moved on without him? Or could it be deeper? Maybe Jim's been carrying this chip on his shoulder for years and this is the only way he knows how to release it? Should Nas finally step in the booth and respond with bars, or is silence truly the best revenge for a king who knows he's untouchable? Let us know your take in the comments. And if you love deep dives into real hip-hop drama, the wins, the losses, the ego battles, then you're in the right place. Go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and smash that bell icon so you never miss a drop. We've got more heat on the way, and trust me, it only gets wilder from here.